These are the stories that the dogs tell when the fires burn high and the wind is from the north. Then each family circle gathers at the hearthstone, and the pups sit silently and listen. And when the story's done, they ask many questions. What is man? They'll ask. Or perhaps, what is a city? Or what is a war? There is no positive answer to any of these questions. There are suppositions, and there are theories, and there are many educated guesses, but there are no answers. So begins Clifford D. Simak's 1952 fix-up novel, City. Now, what I mean by fix-up novel, if you're not aware, is that it was originally serialized in short stories in mostly astounding science fiction. And then in 1952, he pulled them together with interlaced material to create a novel, a fix-up novel. Now, you've heard, if you've been watching my channel, me go endlessly on about Clifford D. Simak. And I will continue to endlessly go on about Clifford D. Simak. But this year, I am going to do a read-through of at least 4 of his books. The first is going to be in March, and it's going to be City. And the second one, there's no dates for the other 3 here. The second one will be Way Station, published in 1963. Then All Flesh is Grass, 1965. And the newest one, let's put it that way, the latest one is Project Pope, that was published in 1981. And do join us for one or all of them. But as I say, the dates for Way Station, All Flesh is Grass, and Project Pope are still up in the air at the moment. Now, you might wonder, okay, 1952, is this book still in print? Yes, it is. There are a number of editions. I'm going to go through some used ones that you might be able to find. But let's look at what's available today. Now, for ebooks, you can get an ebook of this through Open Road Media. You can buy it through Amazon or other, well, if you go to Open Road Media site and do a search on there, and then they got links to in your area. This is the cover of it. This has an introduction by the executor of the Clifford D. Simak estate, Dave Wixon, and it puts a few things in context and pulls a few things from his letters, his diaries, his journal, writing journal, and so forth. Now, the other one that is actually in print is by Golan's. It's the SF Masterworks, and this is usually my reading copy that I use as reading copy. Now, this also has an introduction. This was published. Let's see when this edition was published. This edition was published in 2010. And it has a 3-page introduction by Gwyneth Jones. So this is a good one if you want a hard copy. You can buy a hard copy of the Open Road Media as well. But that's a little pricey, even for the ebook. If you have any problems finding any, do let me know. Now, I'll go through some used ones that you may care to look at. It's by no means exhaustive. It's just a few that I've downloaded. Now, I'll start out with the first edition with the Kelly Freas cover. Now, if anybody has one of these laying around and need it to go to a good home, do contact me, please. Now, here's a later edition. That's a really good one. And this is the edition that I first knew City by and read it. It's an Ace edition. You might recognize the cover. It's been reused for other books. There's another edition. There's a British edition. I'm not quite sure of this one. I'm not sure what they were doing. The added thing with this, if you want to call it an added thing, is that there's, I think they call it an introduction or forward, but it's only like a paragraph long, so it doesn't really do much, but it's an oddity. Now, there's a book club edition, and there's another book club edition. There's a few others. There's a 50th anniversary edition that came out as well. This is an odd one. I've never actually seen this or held it, so I don't know if there's anything extra in the contents. There is but you see, the older ones will be missing, like that one and these. There's a good chance they're missing the final story epilogue, so you really want to get that. But you can always, get that other places. Now, this is a British edition. I do like these editions with the A there, and there's another one, and that's a beautiful cover. There's another British edition. Not too sure about that. Now, this is the one that's in print, as I say. Now, I'll end it here with the first British edition. Now, again, if you have one of these lying around and you need it to go to a good home, do contact me. Now, I have started a Voxer group to when we go through the reading of this. Now, as I say, it's going to be in March. There are 8 tales, and then there's the final story epilogue that was written in 1971, I think it was, at the request of, it was after John W. Campbell died, and it was in a memorial volume. So that is in this edition for sure. That is in the Open Road Media, and it's in some of the editions. It has to be published basically past 1975, or the edition past 1975. But also, I should say after 1976, because in 1976, Clifford Simak wrote a 4-page introduction, and it was published with a number of them. And the ones in the 80s, I believe most of them have that introduction in. However, sadly, the Golan's edition here doesn't. It has a 3-page introduction, as I say, by Gwyneth Jones, which is nice in of itself. And the Open Road Media, while it has an introduction by Dave Wixon, at least in the ebook that I have of it, it does not have Clifford Simak's new introduction, or new for 1976. So these are things that you might want to consider. If you have any questions of what edition or you're thinking of, just email me a picture, or email me a link to it, and I can take a look at it and let you know how that is. This here edition, which is I'm never going to probably get a first edition of City, so this is a nice hardcover edition. This was published in 2004 by Old Earth Books. It's hence out of print now, but it does have his 4-page author's foreword. Now, if you are also lucky enough to have the Easton Press edition, that also has the 4-page introduction, but it also has, I think it's a 6 or 7-page introduction or foreword, however they want to call it, by Robert Silverberg. So that's a nice thing as well. So March is City. So get in touch. Let's make this an event, a big event. If you haven't read City, this is a perfect time to do it. I will go more into the structure of the book and sort of the history of it and other things around this, because as I say, these stories were published originally in magazines. So there's going to be a little different, version of it in the magazine, as opposed to the published book version. But yeah, get in touch. You can find me on did I say Instagram? Voxer, a Voxer group. If I said Instagram, I do apologize. It's a Voxer group, and you can find me just with Shawn Standfast, and you'll see this beautiful visage. And you'll know it's me. But yeah, let's, as I say, make this an event. And I'll be doing other ones throughout the year. As I say, there will be Way Station, which was published in 1963. All Flesh is Grass, published 1965. And then we'll be finishing up with Project Pope. Well, I say finishing, but we may not. It depends on how this goes, how I feel. We may actually do a few more. See you next time, BookTube. Thank you.